Video games are a rather bizarre medium. In a sense, they are more like movies and paintings by being visual, while still playing the part of books by being so fucking expensive. Back in 2009, after the development of Uncharted 2, the developer Naughty Dog did some thinking by saying, hey, why make one game and make one of the money when we can make two games and make double the money? Well, it didn't exactly sound like that.
Pause to read.
But regardless, the pieces were in place for something big to happen. The first team would be constructing the ending to their beloved franchise in Uncharted 3, directed by Amy Hennig. And while all this was happening, a second team would be working on another game, one of, if not the, most influential titles of the past decade, The Last of Us.
Ellie!
Get out of there!
Now, don't forget about Uncharted 3. We'll come back to that franchise in just a little bit, but let's focus on The Last of Us and many games that came out in 2013 that ushered in a brand new era of gaming.
Sweet mother shit.
You have no idea what loss is. You're right.
Oh my god.
I told you what you wanted. I ain't telling you shit.
It's all right. I believe it.
No, wait!
What you just saw was a quick glimpse into what The Last of Us truly is, and always was, a game about story. And I'm not just gonna sit here and say that video games of the past didn't have stories. They most definitely did, and quite a few of those were pretty good. My argument is that the developers of these games have been making the exact same experience for the past 10 years, making the video games genre feel more and more oversaturated as a result. Take Ghost of Tsushima, for example, a 2020 game that, upon release, got critical and commercial success. Apart from its fantastic gameplay and striking visuals, there's just one thing that all critics seem to agree on. It just got boring. It felt like this 40-hour game was being stretched out to a 60-hour game to artificially make the game feel longer. Now, don't get me wrong, Ghost of Tsushima is a good game, a great one in fact. And as I and many others believe, where Ghost of Tsushima fails is in its two biggest contributors, its open world and its story. See, this is what makes 2013 so special in gaming history. Not only did both landmark titles come out in the same year, but they also changed how video games would be made and developed for the foreseeable future. The Last of Us, with its fantastic and emotional story, opened the door and paved the way for other games to express and create unique and touching stories unheard of in the video game medium. The other landmark title to come out of 2013 is the groundbreaking GTA 5, with the developers Rockstar Games creating one of the most entertaining and malleable games of all time, because of it pioneering the open world genre and being one of the highest sold games of all time. It's almost a given that other developers would want a piece of that pie. Now, if you're a developer trying to make your game feel unique while also appealing to the largest demographic possible, it only makes sense to look at industry trends and apply the most successful ones in order to create the best experience possible. In theory, this made sense and forced the industry to become smarter and create bigger and better games as a result. Well, in a vacuum. This meant that every game had to have a fantastic sprawling narrative, and every game had to have a vast open world, and as a result, every game felt the exact same. Now I want to talk about a few examples of video game franchises that have changed past 2013, starting with the release of Uncharted 3. Upon release, Uncharted 3 became pulverizing, to say the least. Some reviewers believe this game to be one of the best, by placing a higher emphasis on the story, while others believed it had simply lost the magic that had made the first two games so widely beloved. Uncharted 4 at the time of release in 2016 was widely touted as not only one of the best games of that year, but one of the best games to come out of the 2010s. With its wide array of improvements over the third game, its most impressive feat is the game's story. This game had an interweaving narrative with more than 4 three-dimensional characters and a plot that Uncharted 3 could only dream of. The biggest difference from this and the third game is the creative director Neil Druckmann, who replaced Amy Hennig halfway through development because of the success of The Last of Us. Naughty Dog's way of saying, out with the old and in with the new. And that's just one gaming franchise. The God of War franchise before 2013 looked vastly The Metal Gear
different
franchise
than
before
today.
2013,
Although
the Assassin's Creed franchise before
never the main
although
objective.
yes, the story rolling
than it does
world,
today.
it was
Although
never the main
yes,
objective.
the story
It
was
was
sprawling
the
open
world,
world,
never the main
copious amount of
objective.
side quests,
Was it
but
sprawling
almost
God
seems
mode,
like
but
the
copious
entire
life
franchise
cheered
and
and
praised
praised
like the entire
fans,
franchise.
critics and fans alike,
Regardless,
praised and
critics and
cheered
fans
the
alike praised and
direction
cheered
of
the
the
new
and
franchise.
invented direction of the franchise. And if you're still not convinced, a great man once said,
Heroes. Everyone can be super. And when everyone's super, no one will be.
in conclusion, every game past 2013 looks, sounds, and tastes exactly the same. Okay, bye!